Look who decided to finally show up.
It's amazing. Not on vacation again.
Our garden, what? Our garden's been looking in disarray without your
It
attention.
has, and you know there's a lot of things that need to be done. Because it's been in disarray, we need to start thinking about those raised beds and getting those raised beds ready. Or for that matter, if you got gardens in the soil, this is the time of year to start doing it because we're about 2 to 3 weeks away from starting to plant those, what we call fall gardens.
Yay.
So what you want to do is you want to start thinking about compost, or the key ingredient is stimulating microbial activity. Now, microbes in the soil, you know what microbes are. They're
Yes.
just all those tiny little things that exist in the soil. Those are the guys, or the key ingredient to growing organic type vegetables out here in the desert Southwest.
They're the good stuff.
Hold that right there, that dethatching rake. I want to show something here that's the most important ingredient that's going to go in that garden, and it is compost. In fact, about 6 to 8 inches of this in the soil is going to go a long ways towards really building that soil up enough that you can start planting that plant material from seed or, of course, transplants. The other thing needs to go in, a little bit of molasses. In fact, right here.
Really?
Molasses, grandma's molasses. And you want to do this, and you want to just spray this on top of the soil because microbial activity is stimulated from sugar.
But how
So
do you...
molasses works out real well because the fact that basically got a lot of sulfur in it, lowers that pH, it's real important,
Okay.
and it feeds that microbial activity. Sugar does the same thing, about 20 pounds per 1,000 square feet.
But how are you spraying molasses? It's
You
so
can go
thick.
ahead and put it in a hose and sprayer, or you can just mix it in, maybe just a coffee can or just a regular can, and just pour it throughout the garden itself.
Okay.
Goes a long ways towards really doing a good job on not only stimulating that microbial activity, but at the same time, it's going to lower the pH. So it's really going to be going to do
Use
a
your
good job.
words.
Yeah, going to do a good job on really getting that garden and getting it really perked up because you're growing soil before you're growing plants, and
Okay.
that's what we do. We've got these raised beds out here. They're about 4 foot wide by about 12 foot long and about, 6 to 8 inches above the soil line. You don't need a whole lot, folks. Don't go all out and try to make it really tall because of the fact that it does cost a lot of money for this soil. So just a little bit out of the soil is the ideal situation because that's not only going to help you out to get away from a lot of that, real hard clay type soil, but it's going to protect you basically from the vagaries of real cold weather and real hot weather. It's a little bit less warm, a little bit above the soil line, and a little bit warmer during the winter above the soil line. So you want to go ahead and do that. And of course, north-south exposure is the other thing. Now, something else you can put on, just regular steer manure will work out real well. You want to go ahead and think about anything that's got microbial activity. This is going to be the ideal situation. And you asked about this earlier.
Yeah, the lava sand.
Lava sand is something that we use in our gardens out here. It's got paramagnetism in it, and it aligns those soil molecules, causing about 20% faster growth out here in the desert Southwest. And you see how granular it is?
Yeah.
It's got a lot of microbial activity in it, and it's got a lot of micronutrients in it. So it really holds up, and it really holds in a lot of those trace elements in the soil, causing faster drainage, which is real important for a lot of our herbal type plant material that we've got out here. Something else, a little bit of compost tea. In fact, compost tea, here it is right here, and I go ahead and let me just turn that on. I create what we call an aerobic type compost tea. This is a little bit of aerator right there. That's a mineral aerator. And we push air into the compost tea, and that air causes that aerobic type situation, which stimulates microbial activity again. So again, the key ingredient is microbial activity. Now, one more thing, I just heard the rap. Get out there and start thinking about fertilizing right now. We want to fertilize all the citrus trees, for that matter. Everything out there in the desert Southwest that grows out here really needs a little bit of fertilizer here in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And you can kind of push back your water this time of year too. We've already kind of come out of that real high cycle water. So go ahead and start thinking about elongating, not decreasing the amount or time, but elongating those days between watering. So about once a week to once every 2 weeks for this time of year.
Nice relief.
Okay, there you go.
Yay. Say it again. Fall is on the way.
Fall is on the way. I felt one cool day the other day, and it was
Hey.
awesome.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
Well, let's also talk about the fact you were up in Payson a lot of this
I
time.
am up in Payson. It's starting to cool down a little bit, but I felt it down here too. So
Okay.
there you go.
All right. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
James, back to you.